guess it had it coming.
We all have it coming, kid.
Some legends will never be forgotten. Some wrongs can never be forgiven.
Any man don't want to get killed. Better clear on out the back.
Unforgiven.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. Today we talk about the 1992 Clint Eastwood directed and starring in... Starring in?
Yeah. Either way, right?
Well, we're talking about...
ways.
Yeah, we're talking about that movie. It's called Unforgiven, and it is incredible. I love this movie. I've seen this movie a ton of times. I watched it when I was young because my dad showed me it because he loves this movie, and it's just so good. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is maybe like the third time I've seen it or so. But I remember the first time I watched it, like me and my brothers, my mom and dad all watched it together. And I was maybe in like 8th grade or something. If I'm remembering right. And I don't remember what like prompted it. This was also a Laserdisc movie that we had.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like we all sat down to watch it, and my mom and my brothers were like talking, and my dad was like, "You guys need to shut up and read this, like the text, that comes at the beginning of the movie." He's like, "Otherwise, you will not understand why this guy's so pissed off." And like that always like stuck with me. Yeah, I mean, this movie's incredible. It's just so good. I've got my like my rant primed up on the themes of the movie. So
there's such great. It's very thematically heavy, this movie.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I have all the themes at the end of my notes. You probably have it at the beginning, but
yeah.
I can look around. But
we can just go in chronological order and go talk about it, throughout.
Okay, works for me. This movie is also rated very highly on IMDb. We continue that trend. Number 152 on their top 250, so super high. It also won 4 Oscars out of 9. It won Best Picture, Best Director from Clint Eastwood, Best Editing, and Best Supporting Actor for Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's awesome in this movie. Jake texted me, "Little fucking Bill."
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. Huh. Do you not like him in this movie? Like, do you think he's just a piece of shit or what?
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, he is a piece of shit. But, Hackman is just so good.
So damn good in this movie. It's the third Western to ever win Best Picture. Dances with Wolves won Best Picture in 90. And if I'm pronouncing it right, and I'll probably get ridiculed for it, but Cimarron,
yeah,
from 1931, which I've never seen.
Me either.
You've seen Dances with Wolves, right?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. We should watch it. It's great.
Yeah.
Or you should watch it. It's like 3 hours. It's kind of long.
Yeah.
Great movie though. What's funny is that's another Western that stars and is directed by the same person, like Kevin Costner. So he stars and directed it. So what's funny about this movie, and again, Jake and his somehow 7 degrees of Jake and how he picks these movies. We just did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood dedicated this film to his mentors, Sergio Leone and Don Siegel. And it's at the final credits read dedicated to Siegel and Sergio and Don. So Don Siegel made a movie in 1976 called The Shootist, which I've never seen. But after reading about it, I want to see it. And it's based on the novel of the same name. And David Webb Peoples wrote the screenplay for this movie, and he heavily borrows from that book because it's basically a legendary gunslinger who has thrown in the towel and comes back for to prove his legendary status. And it's one of John Wayne's last. It's John Wayne, and it's one of his
okay.
last movies he ever did. So that's pretty cool. I really want to watch it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then what's cool is so David Webb Peoples. This movie kind of was in a very long development. I don't know if you read anything about it, but it was in a super long development hell, if you will. The screenplay, David Webb Peoples, he wrote the screenplay for Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
Peoples had already written and sold the script for this movie sometime in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so it took around 20 years before it got made into a movie, which is crazy. And it was initially optioned as a project for Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, I read that, which is
Okay.
pretty crazy.
With John Malkovich as the lead, which is very interesting. That fell through, and it was subsequently bought by Eastwood. And many years passed for Eastwood. He was sitting on it for a long time. And David Webb Peoples was at a party with Eastwood, and Peoples and his wife basically were like, "Hey, like, are you ever going to make this a movie? Like, it's such a great script." And Eastwood answered that he was just about to announce it, like literally when they asked him, which is cool. So yeah, I mean, I think the writing in this movie is great. The one thing that stood out to me on this viewing, again, I've seen it so many times. It's a 2 hour and 12-minute movie. The runtime flew by for me on this movie. It was so great.
So well paced.
Yeah. And you think for a lot of Westerns that, like, you know, some people will complain about Western movies being boring. I mean, I kind of had that issue with Good, Bad, and the Ugly, to be honest. The pacing was a little off for me. It's a little bit boring, but the ending makes up for it. This movie is just, it flew by. I unfortunately, I watched like an hour and a half of it, and then I had to go get my hair cut. And I was so pissed that I had to go get my hair cut because I was like, oh, I just want to I want to watch it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And like, it flew by, and I couldn't wait to get home and watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think smartly, this movie doesn't try to be an epic. In the way that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is.
Yep.
Like it's a pretty cut and dry narrative, and they do a good job of keeping things flowing, keeping things moving forward. They're not trying to do these like big, impressive, like landscape shots for 2 minutes of them just like riding horses, and that kind of stuff. So I think that really keeps it like very, very grounded too, and like they're not traveling all that far, so like it's a really, like, they wrote it really well so that it didn't have to be this big, long, drawn out kind of thing.
Yeah, it's such a simple plot too, if you think about it, but it's the characters that make it really interesting. The plot,
yeah, the whole movie is driven by the characters, which is why I think it's particularly compelling.
Yeah, the plot's so simple. It's these prostitutes have one of their like gals gets cut up, and they want these two cowboys that did it, which only one of them did it, and the other one's kind of innocent if you think about it. And they basically they put a bounty on their heads to get them killed. And this kid, the Schofield kid, goes to look for William Money, Clint Eastwood's character, because he's a legend and a mean SOB. And
meanest son of a bitch that ever walked the earth, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the meanest son of a bitch. You had no fears, what my uncle told me about you. And just like legend. And yeah, I mean it's such a simple plot, but again, the characters are so well written, and so it's almost, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. It's almost an anti-Western. This movie.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to like what we talked about in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where it's
subversive.
It's a subversion of the
typical
old school, you
Yeah.
know, like classic Western.
Yeah.
Nobody is a good guy in this movie in the end, you know. It's everybody is all the characters are very morally complex. I'll say.
Yes. And that's one of our themes for sure in this
Yeah.
movie is the moral complexity of these characters and like the gray area that all these characters live in. And that like really defined the old West and these Western movies of it it's so subversive because you get the hero that's in these movies and he's just killing so many people. And it's like it makes our hero of the story a bad guy. And his killing that he's done in the past was brutal. He's killed women and children. And it's so subversive and so cool because Clint Eastwood was such a popular figure in Western cinema. And he's got Good, the Bad, the Ugly. He's got the Man with No Name trilogy. He's got Pale Rider. He's got High Plains Drifter. He's got a handful of other ones, I believe.
Outlaw Josie Wales.
Yep. Which
Yeah.
I've never seen any of those.
Me either.
I need to. They're on my list, and they're all like rated pretty high.
Yeah.
And like he's directed some of those as well himself.
Mhm.
And this is like all those characters rolled into one, and he is this legend because of those. It like takes his screen persona and puts it into the movie, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And makes him a bad guy. And another reason Eastwood wanted to wait a while to make this movie is he wanted to be that kind of grizzled veteran, which is really cool. And it fits so well. He's the perfect character for it. Perfect actor
I
for
read
it.
that one critic called this like a eulogy to the Man with No Name and like his kind of Western career. This is the last traditional Western that he was in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Since like Gran Torino in a lot of ways is like a modern Western, but
yeah.
It not exactly,
Yeah.
the same thing, but also another fantastic movie. But yeah, I mean, like for sure, like the moral complexity and ambiguity of the characters is a primary theme. Violence and the nature of like man and violence. Also, what we talked about in Shutter Island is a major theme in this movie. And then like the thing I noticed that I do want to talk about as we like go through kind of the characters is how everyone not everyone, all of the men in the movie pretend to be something they're not until they reveal their like true character.
Yes. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah. So like, first off, I'm going to save Money and Bill for last. Cause they're like the two, primary characters.
Yeah.
But we already talked about the Schofield kid who presents himself to Money as this like cold-blooded killer who's, killed 5 people, and like, he's a, big badass up and coming bounty hunter. And we learn later that not only is he lying about his ability and track record of killing, but he can't see.
Yeah.
So he's putting up this facade of, like bravado and violence that like he just doesn't really have in him. As evidenced by, after he does kill, his first, victim, he says like, I'm never going to kill again, and actually gives away his gun to William Money.
And so funny little piece of trivia. He said he's killed 5 men and that's why he's called the Schofield. On account of I got a Schofield, pistol.
Yeah.
That Schofield, William Money takes that Schofield and kills 4 more people with it.
Yeah.
So that gun has killed 5 people.
5 people. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know until I read the trivia.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Then next up is Ned, Money's old partner.
Oh, real quick. In the screenplay, apparently, and guilt is another big theme
Yeah.
that the Schofield kid kills himself, basically, in the screenplay. At the end of the screenplay, they didn't put it in the movie, but because of his his heavy guilt that he has and taking a man's life, he kills himself. But yeah, sorry. Okay, now on to Ned.
Yeah.
Played by Morgan Freeman, who is
Yeah.
awesome in this movie.
Awesome. So yeah, he's living a very similar life to Money, like a simple, like farming life. But he like jumps at the chance to go kill somebody. And like, he's like kind of talking shit the whole time, like, oh, like, this is gonna be fun, kind of stuff.
Just like the old days,
Yeah, just like the old days. Then when he gets the opportunity, take a shot on the guy, he's like, I can't do it, and passes it to Money, who badly shoots the guy. And they have to like sit there and listen to him like struggle to die for like 5 minutes.
Just give him a drink of water, would you?
Yeah.
Great scene.
Yeah, awesome scene. And like,
they shot me, boys. They shot me.
such a good way to communicate like how shitty like the violence was, in the West.
It's dragged out.
Like, yeah, it's not clean, it's not simple. Like these guys are, assassins basically. And they're only there to kill the one guy, so like they're in this weird situation where he's like, I don't want to have to sit here and listen to this guy like gurgle blood, like give him water, like make him shut up, like,
yeah,
whatever, right? Like, we're not gonna shoot any of you, just like go, do what you gotta do to like ease his suffering.
Well, it's guilt and remorse too. It's part of that theme that runs through as well. It's just like they have to listen to their actions and hear their actions of what they've done,
mm-hmm.
and it's dragged out and like brutal for them to hear.
Yeah. So then, Ned basically leaves the party because he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I was wrong, like, I don't want any part of this anymore. Then, well, a little bit earlier, we meet English Bob.
Yes. I hate him. I hate him in this movie.
He is the fucking worst. Yeah, he's talking shit about Abraham Lincoln, who just got shot. And saying that America needs a king or a queen. Like kind of putting on this like, oh, I'm like a big, like big talking, Englishman, on a train, and one guy starts getting in it with him, and his buddy's like, hey, you might not want to do that. There's a good chance that guy's English Bob, who's this like notorious outlaw. And then we meet Beauchamp, who's like his biographer basically, who goes and sits next to him kind of as like his little like, minion, and kind of rides the coattails of Bob's, like infamy, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. And like
it's boastfulness almost.
Yeah. So like Bob's got a pretty, bad reputation. And like people clearly know who he is. And he's going into town to collect the $1,000 reward or bounty on the two cowboys. So next, Beauchamp is, I think they're coming out of the barbershop, I think, when Little Bill and like his deputies come and surround them with their guns drawn. And Beauchamp actually like pisses his pants because he's so scared. And like, so his like little, facade of like being like a, cool like sidekick
Yes.
to Bob kind of diminishes instantly. That he's kind of just a coward. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bob, being boisterous and stuff, gives up his weapons, pretty freely to Bill. Then Bill kicks the shit out of him in the street in front of everybody and like beats him to a pulp, and throws him in jail. And that's when we learn that basically Bob's entire story is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because Bill was actually there for most of the stories that Bob is famous for. And then that triggers Beauchamp to be like, oh, well, I should be writing the biography about Bill, not about Bob.
Yeah.
And basically switches and like leaves Bob, to get booted out of town.
I love the scene between all of them in the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And him offering the pistol and telling the story of how it really happened with how Bob is famous. And that whole scene is so great and the acting's so awesome. Apparently, the guy who plays Beauchamp, I forget his name. It's like Rubenstein or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But he told a story recently when Gene Hackman passed away that he was like, I was in awe of Hackman and his acting. It was like, it was like a lesson every day. And he said that, Eastwood is very notorious for doing like very like one take. All right, we're good. We got it. It was great. And he also shoots the rehearsals. And the first time they did it for the rehearsal is what's in the movie. And he said, nice. That's just how good Gene Hackman is. And, yeah, like that was super cool. And English Bob, when he gets handed the gun and then doesn't go to shoot him, just shows he's kind of full of shit and he's a phony. Yeah. And then when he empties the bullets, showing that the gun was actually really loaded, he's like, oh, fuck, like I could have got out of here in a sense. Yeah. And then when he's leaving in that carriage, so he's had a real like upper crust English accent from what I read, but in the final scene he's yelling a flurry of like slews and insults about the town and all the people, and his accent changes and it's a lower class common London Cockney accent. And that also reveals that he's full of shit and a phony. He's just like putting on this front.
The story that Bill tells or corrects is also super important because like the story is that Bob like gunned down this guy in a bar in like a fair fight, or something like that. But it turns out that Bob was like piss drunk. This guy like hurled some insults at him, and Bob basically ends up trying to like shoot him in the back like 3 times unsuccessfully.
And his gun misfires.
Yeah, and finally kills the guy, know, in cold blood. Like also showing that he's like a coward and not the like big cool outlaw that they're trying to make him out to be in this book. But then, that's kind of the scene too where Bill is kind of revealed a little bit. So, Bill kind of puts out this image of like, I'm, like the nice sheriff, like benevolent sheriff. All I want to do is live in my little town and build my little house and my porch.
Shitty house.
And like, I just want a nice, clean, happy, happy town and big whiskey. And, we see him get violent with Bill or with English Bob in the street, but it's like, yeah, okay, like he's pissed off that these people are coming, to collect the bounty and are going to cause problems, in the town. But then in the jail, like you said, he basically sets up first Beauchamp and then Bob to like take a gun and shoot him. and challenges them to like point the gun at him so that
Yeah.
he can just kill both of them in cold blood too. And that's when it's kind of revealed that like Bill's not really the like, you know, level-headed sheriff, you know, that he kind of pretends to be. He's actually, you know, like a former like outlaw gunslinger, you know, as well. So, you know, that's kind of his like duality that he like hides behind.
Everybody's hugging that gray area. They're all hugging
Right.
that line. Yeah, and to go back, Saul Rubinek. I looked it up. That's
Oh,
who
yeah.
plays Mr. Beauchamp.
Yeah. Then obviously Money is the only one that's left, who has, you know, the most impactful transformation in the movie. You know, through the entire movie up until, you know, the very last sequence, you know, he's sober. He's just trying to live this like farming, you know, simple farming
Take care of his
life.
2 kids.
Take care of his kids. You know, he's like living in dedication to his wife who had passed away, you know, trying to be like as clean and, you know, straight edged as he possibly can.
She cured him of his wickedness.
Right. Even, you know, when like he shoots the one cowboy with the rifle in that like canyon, you know, he's still kind of like trying to do what he can to like help him out, you know, like let the guys go treat him or try and, you know, ease his suffering or whatever. You know, and then him and the Schofield kid get the news that Ned was captured and killed accidentally by Bill and the townsfolk. And then unbelievably unceremoniously he just starts chugging whiskey out of the bottle and like asking questions, and like that scene is so good.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of grabs the bottle, opens it, and starts drinking. And it's not like there's no like shot of him like hesitating or like anything. It's just instantaneous, like bucket, like like it's going down, you know? And like I think what's also great about that scene is that the kid and the woman don't react to him drinking either. So like as the audience, like we're the only ones that are aware that like something's going to happen, which is also like great filmmaking. But yeah, so then obviously Money sheds this image of civility and becomes like the baddest son of a bitch that's ever walked the face of the earth.
Yeah, because you know the audience. He tells Ned too. He's like, you know, I was always drunk, or I think he tells the Schofield kid this. He's like, I was always
right
drunk
before
when
that,
I killed people.
The kid asks him like, what was it like, or you know, to kill people, and he was like, I don't even remember. I was drunk most of the time.
Yeah, and you just know that he's hasn't drank. He's been cured of that. His wife cured him of the drink, and him just chugging that is so cool. I mean, it's it's funny. So it sounds chugging alcohol, so cool. But no, like you like you said, you know something's gonna like shit. Like he's going back to his old way. He knows he's gonna go back to his old ways.
Yeah, he's completely thrown out all of his redemption and rehabilitation and you know whatever to go get revenge for Ned.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all that, you know, I think there's also a particularly interesting theme of you know, I can't remember exactly what the line is from Shutter Island, but it's like violent men and men of violence, you know?
Yeah.
Like the kid and Ned and English Bob are all like men of violence, where like they have like situations where they need to engage in violence, you know, to survive or whatever, where Little Bill and Money are violent men, and like no matter what they do, they're going to resort to violence almost always as the first course of action.
Yeah.
which we see.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When money goes to the bar to get revenge, who owns this shop and shoots the like barkeep guy, if you will? That is crazy. And then, little Bill's like, well, you just shot an unarmed man. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be decorating my store with my friend.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna kill little Bill, and his gun misfires, which is like the story that little Bill tells about English Bob, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And then he starts killing all these guys with the Schofield and then a couple other guns, and like it's that whole scene is such a good like thematically in that scene. It's the chaos of violence and the realisticness and brutality of violence, and I like a lot when movies show that. There's a movie called Blue Ruin, which is directed by Jeremy Saulnier. I highly recommend you watch it, Jake, and our viewers, if you haven't already. There's such a brutality of violence and realisticness to the violence in that movie, where it's like, it's just one character going for revenge. And it's like him getting in these situations and having to deal with like this violence and like, what the fuck do I do? Like, how do I defend against myself, or how do I attack? And this movie has that in it, that intensity and like those stakes, which we love. And it's so well done and such a cool contrast to these and subversions to these standard Western movies where it's just, stick them up, draw, and you shoot and the guy's dead, versus, people are missing point blank to each other for the like pretty close. They're like freaking the fuck out. They're shitting
like
their pants.
The honorable duel versus the shootout, is very different.
Yes. And you've got like Saul Rubinek, who Beauchamp pissing his pants, and it's everyone is afraid of death and murder, but they do it because that's kind of the tough thing to do. And like Schofield Kid, for example, him when he gets the jump on the dude in the porta potty, the guy who cut up the prostitute, and he's like hesitating to kill him, and he finally does. There's that hesitation and like scare, like that fear of taking another man's life because it's serious and there's stakes to it. And they're like, how are you going to be after you've taken a man's life? What are you like? It's going to mess you up. And that's really a crazy theme. Violence is messy.
I think I'm like a little worried that I'm mixing up movies, but I'm pretty sure one of the times that Bill is talking to Beauchamp, he's talking about what it's like when people are like gonna shoot at each other. I'm pretty sure it's when they're in his house and like everything's leaking. But Bill says something along the lines of like, most people when they're in some kind of like, firearms like confrontation, like they can't shoot anything because they're scared and their hand is like wiggling and all that kind of stuff. And he says something along the lines of like, the people who are calm are the ones you really need to like watch out for, which in that shootout scene, Money is the calmest person in the entire room in the end. And you can see it where like everybody's like shooting past him and he's just like one shot after another, just downing people like it's nothing,
Yeah, and then him leaving and telling him, I'm going to kill every one of you sons of bitches, is so crazy and badass.
He also, they don't show it, but he presumably blows off Bill's head with that rifle.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%.
So, yeah. And yeah, when he, as he's leaving, he says, if anybody shoots at me, I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to find your family, and I'm going to kill all of them, and your kids, and your best friends.
Yeah. And like, there's people that have like the jump on him, and he's like,
they're like,
I'm
no.
not going to do it. No.
Yeah.
Just because of it's that legend that like, and what's cool is seeing Beauchamp witness all this. He's like, holy shit. Like this, he gets his true story. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's finally that real story happening right before his eyes that
Well,
he can't believe.
right, he gets the raw version of all these different stories that he's been told, but he finally witnesses like the true like
Yes.
violence and the true like outlaw, like at work. And like he's, terrified of it.
Yep. Yeah, the legend's real. Super cool. Um and then it's like redemption's a big theme. Like can you ever find redemption by being such a violent person and having all this death and chaos and murder? Like can you ever really be redeemed? Like and I think William Money's character is a great example of that. Like he can't be redeemed. He like in a sense it's like recidivism. It's like you're always going to go back to that crime because that's what you know and that's like kind of what you resort to. But it's also the the nature of things. It's like if you're going to go do this crime, there's going to be these bad repercussions.
Yeah.
And it brings like it's such a chain reaction, and this movie's so much about a chain reaction that happens, and it's like you have to. It brings that side of you out. So it's like, is there redemption? Does he have redemption? No,
Yeah.
but
Even though like it's implied that he may have gone to live like a successful life,
yes,
in San Francisco. But like it's not like, because it says like he was rumored or something, so it's like you don't really know. And like
yeah,
it's it's not clear what his life after the movie kind of becomes, and it's a little up for interpretation, I think.
I take it for face value. I'd say, but yeah, it does say like rumor or whatever. Like I think it's
Yeah.
true
But I mean, like, I think the movie's called Unforgiven. I think
for a reason.
yeah, like, I think it's referencing his ability, I think, to forgive himself, and he can't do it because he knows how bad of a person he is. Even if he goes and lives this like successful life with his kids somewhere, like he still killed a lot of people, and it's something that he has to live with forever.
And that I think ties into another theme that I just thought of, believe it or not. It's like denial and facing your demons, cuz in the beginning when the Schofield kid comes to recruit him to do this job, he's kind of like I'm just a nobody basically. Like I'm nobody. And that whole time and it also ties into like the legend. It's like is this guy truly a legend or not? And the whole movie he doesn't bring it out until he finds out Ned's dead, and then it's like, all right, like
Well, and
I'm gonna face the news, like I'm gonna face reality that my friend's dead, and now I need to go kill a fuck ton of people.
yeah, and like whenever he's asked about things or like people reference the past to him, he always acknowledges it, but he doesn't like while like bask in it, or he kind of like downplays everything. Like like the kid says, like, what was it like to kill people? And he was like, I don't know. Like I was drunk.
Yeah.
Like, which like is not like a great answer.
Yeah.
And like,
but yeah, this movie doesn't glorify violence in that way
no,
too.
right. Yeah, exactly. Like he's a very, as he should be, like his character kind of embodies like all of the central themes of the movie.
Yeah.
And like,
Brilliant.
violence is brutal and terrible, and he doesn't want to acknowledge the depths of like his depravity, I think, but he will acknowledge that like things happened.
Yeah. Yep. Like you want to think he's a good guy, like with him dealing with the prostitute that got her face cut up and saying, oh, like my wife wouldn't like that, and if I was to get a freebie, sure, I'd have it with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like trying to do good. And you have that throughout the movie. And then it's like, even there's subtle hints and even sayings like the main prostitute girl is like, oh, he's not married. Like, like she's in the ground and like, don't get too close to him basically is like what, it's interesting. It's it's so well done. I love this movie. One of my buddies thinks this movie's overrated, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I think it's funny because there's certain movies I don't love, and certain movies my friends love, and I, am very passionate about what I like and what I don't like. And I will admit, it definitely is different. You get a different perspective watching a movie with a friend. And because if you have someone that likes the movie that you watch it with and you don't like the movie, and while you're watching it being like, oh, that's super cool, or like, this is why I like this, and blah, 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 and vice versa, it's discourse. It's so cool. And I want to watch this movie with my buddy. And hopefully I'm going to send him this episode and he needs to watch it. But like, this is why we like all these themes are so rampant in this movie. And like, I mean, granted, I picked up on, a handful of these when watching it just in general for my leisure, but dissecting it for the podcast, like it makes this movie so much better. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you can watch this movie just as like a shoot 'em up revenge story,
but there's
like,
it's so much more than that.
But yeah, like, and the value in this movie is really in its like philosophical depth and thematic depth. Because if you're not picking up on that, it's not going to be nearly as good. And like, what's funny is, I like to look at some of the like reviews or like contemporary reviews for some of these movies, and I don't remember. It's not worth finding who said it, but one critic was like, gave it a terrible rating and was like, yeah, English Bob is a useless character. I was like, what? I was like how? Like, that's like, he's such an important part of like the whole like thing, like, like it's kind of funny how some people just like don't grasp like that stuff, especially film critics. Like,
what's funny you say that is because like literally before getting on to do this episode, I was thinking, I was like, is English Bob's character kind of pointless? I was kind of thinking that, and then I was like, no, he's fucking like such an integral part in the movie. Because I was just thinking of like, are there things I could say that are negative about this movie? And that was one of the criticisms. I was like, maybe that could be. And then I was like, oh no, not at all. It's all about the phoniness of him and the reveal of that. And
he's the catalyst that makes Bill like show his true colors too. Like, he's super important to the plot.
And yeah, it's just, I mean, you nailing it on the head with all the characters and how they're like the dualities of all of them is like so spot on. So yeah, it's so well done. I hope people enjoy this movie, and hopefully listening to this podcast makes you enjoy the movie more. I mean, that I would love that. That would make me happy.
I hope some people do get, a better takeaway, after listening to us talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. We want, I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But we love it and you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had moments where one of us has disliked a movie that we watched, and through the course of talking about it on the show, we're like, oh, actually, I do kind of like that.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't had that in a while, and I've said that on one of our other episodes before when we were doing our 80s movies. I want to have that again. I want to have it where I don't like it and you like it. But I feel like there's not a lot of movies. I mean, granted, we pick movies that are going to be good, at least for this whole season. But there's a handful of like ones I haven't seen. There's not a ton on this list that I have not seen.
Yeah, there's a few first watches for both of us coming up.
But, yep, in May. But they're all supposed to be like really good.
Yeah.
So I don't think this season's about like bangers. Like this whole season's about like, we just wanted to have fun with this season and do movies that we love and that we think we'll love, and not just random movies for the most part. It's like, kind of what this season's all about. So, and we'll see where next season takes us. But anything else you want to add, Jake, to anything else you got written down that was fun, or any more themes? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got everything. I mean, the movie's awesome. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so good.
I
One
gave
of
it
the
a
best
5.
Westerns of all time.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. It's so well done, so well directed. The sets are great. Henry Bumstead, the production designer, like built the town, the big whiskey town, in like 30 days or something, like insane, like 40 days, like just crazy. And that guy's a legendary production designer. But yeah, I love this movie. I'm excited for our next movie, The Treasure of Sierra Madre. Did you say you've never seen it, right?
Never seen it yet.
All right, maybe I doubt we're going to have this. I feel like we're both going to like it, but maybe, who knows? Maybe one of us won't like it. We'll see.
Maybe it's just too old.
I don't know. I've been into old movies lately. I mean, and
Yeah,
Gaslight got me into it.
Yeah, I love old movies.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, that's what we got next week is Treasure of Sierra Madre with Humphrey Bogart. Looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one and enjoyed Unforgiven. We love it. And we love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, send us a comment, and enjoy movies.
See ya.
Later.